most incredible UFO stories I have heard in a long time. A couple of weeks ago, came out of Veterans Today, talking about a joint Chinese-U.S. naval operation. Why? Because maybe of an unfriendly extraterrestrial threat. We're going to talk with the senior editor of Veterans Today, Gordon Duff, in just a moment on Coast to Coast AM. How did it come to you? How did you pick this up?
A couple of years ago, a Chinese submarine had fired a missile off the coast of really Los Angeles.
Yes, I remember that.
And that was, we have a lot of senior Air Force, a lot of NASA people with us. So we had good reports from people when this Chinese rocket went up. They watched the plume. They knew what the fuels were. They knew it was a very primitive quality rocket compared to ours. We're wondering why the Chinese had done this. We get simple calls saying that we have pretty much the entire Chinese Navy off San Francisco. It's not compared to our Navy, they're fairly humorous.
Sure.
They were there. They were operating with Japanese. They were operating with South Koreans. We had as many as 5 of their nuclear submarines there. That we knew a military operation of some kind was going on. I didn't begin to guess. We have 2 sets of technologies. One they tell people about that we really have, and then one we know we have. My entire lifetime experience of working close to UFO issues comes to 2 hours over a period of 43 years.
Okay.
In 1982, I was put on the readers group for Majestic 12. I received an original copy.
What was in those documents, Gordon, that frightened you?
The documents covered the period from 1947 to 1977 when they were produced. Over this period, we had 2 distinct treaties. There have been more since, I have been told. One in 1947, initially with President Truman. One in 1953 with President Eisenhower. A coercive agreement against the United States on the behalf of a hostile alien power that wished to be able to kidnap a number of citizens from the United States. These were not people that were going to be detained and probed and returned. These were people that were going to be detained and butchered. They were very clear about this.
Why did they want to do this?
This group in particular we were talking about had a simple interest in eating people.
Oh, my gosh.
Part of the story here that we're looking at right now, the Pacific story, is that, and these were the things I received intelligence agency real confirmations from, is that we were dealing with an entity, one that technically was, and there are as many as 12, we are told, that the varying nations of the world are dealing with. And if only I were making this up. I wish I was.
I wish you were, too. But...
that this one is unusually unfriendly. I was told to reference the film Independence Day, that they live in underwater bases, had notified us that they were going to bring motherships in and settle in the Pacific Basin. They had moved one off Catalina Island. The U.S. Navy was heavily involved in the Persian Gulf and called on other world navies, Singapore, China, and others to fill in. What most people are unaware of is that the treaties that limited the use of weapons in space have all been abrogated, that within orbit we have many nuclear weapons. The U.S. has a fleet of small, fusion-powered hunter-killer satellites that are designed at a time of war to destroy enemy communication satellites, to take down the GPS system, to protect the United States. They all, in actuality, are aimed outward. That we have high-energy weapons that operate on technologies a century beyond what we admit having, that aim out towards space, and within the upper atmosphere and in low Earth orbit, we have sensors. These are nanosensors. This is as much classified information as I can safely give over the Internet.
Why don't they want us to know about this, Gordon?
I can only give you my guess that one of the units that you can look at on the Internet, and you can extrapolate from this, is the dense plasma hydrogen boron fusion reactor that produces enough waste electricity out of something the size of a basketball to equal a nuclear plant and cost about $70,000 to build. The issue, by saying it's a Malthusian issue, meaning that if the planet had free, unlimited energy, it would not only cause the continually concerned economic collapse because hydrocarbons would become valueless, but it would allow all nations endless free electricity, endless purified water, endless industrialization, endless desalinized seawater, that the world population would move from what it is now, and there's a dispute about what it is. It's claimed to be 7. Some people say it's only 3.6, 3.8 billion people, but that we would, within a generation, if we had free energy, reach a population level of 25 billion that would be, to some, unsustainable.
So these groups of extraterrestrials that are unfriendly, many of which are hiding down there at the bottom of the ocean, what do they plan to do? Are they going to emerge one day? What do they want?
This group in particular had decided that it was reasonable for them to seize the entire Pacific Basin, saying in a rather Hitler-esque fashion, this is all we want. And I know the protections we were using from them, the unpleasant surprise is that we have the ability to shoot down their vehicles. We have high-energy weapons that make the things that we tell people we have look like a childish joke. And those nanosensors we were talking about don't just sense the presence of things, but they look for distortions in space and time. That time is in no way an absolute, and that interdimensional travel is something that is far more likely than someone physically moving over distances. The detections we have here are exactly out of Hollywood. What we do have is we do have a government that has spent trillions of dollars developing weapon systems that are beyond our imagination, but in the process of advancing those technologies, the newer technologies have allowed us to essentially replace most energy sources that we talk about. There are many people who publicly speak about these things, but most people who do so are tasked with doing so in a harmless way or in a way that can easily be discredited. There's a reason I'm talking here right now, and it's not by any means that anyone underrates your the ability of your network. We've waited so many years for disclosure. You know what I'm talking about, George.
Sure, and they could be using you.
There's no question about it. We have 7 craft. They're fusion powered. Their circumference is 1.5 kilometers. One was photographed on YouTube over Busan, Korea earlier in the year.
These things have been seen.
The deal made with me was simply this. We'll let you publish it. No one will believe it. I have the full analysis in high resolution done by the National Reconnaissance Office of a real Earth-built UFO flying at 300 feet with a surface temperature of 400 degrees, and it accelerates in the low atmosphere to 16,000 miles an hour with no change in temperature.
Crazy.
And outside the atmosphere, what I'm officially told is they can approach light speed, and that would mean hitting the pedal to the metal, and in 5 seconds you've got the moon is tiny in the mirror.